us on another interesting edition of our current affairs program, Issues of the Moment. Issues of the Moment is a current affairs program of Living Television Film Academy here in Aba, the commercial capital of Southeast Nigeria. And today we are going to discuss an issue that concerns almost everybody in the Southeast zone of Nigeria. I'm talking about the decline of apprenticeship system in Southeast Nigeria. We decided to focus on this very issue because over the years we have noticed a decline in this very system that has produced well-to-do people both in commerce and industry. And this morning we are privileged to have in our studio a mouthpiece of the gods. He is Ezenmuo Dannie Ubani. Ezenmuo Ubani, welcome to Issues of the Moment.
Thank you for having me.
And also we have students of Living TV Film Academy who are members of the audience. Like we usually do in this very program, at a certain point in time, we are going to give them an opportunity to ask questions concerning the subject we are discussing today. Ezenmuo Dannie Ubani, welcome to the program. Let me start this way. Is it possible for you to tell us how this system, apprenticeship system, came into being in this part?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. The apprenticeship system in this part of the world, I make bold to say, is as old as our socio-cultural system as in Igbo. The Igbo socio-cultural system is structured after the Omona philosophy and way of life, where everyone is dependent to an extent, but largely interdependent on everyone. No man is self-sufficient, and no man functions and exists in a state of autarky. You need me the same way I need you for collective and interpersonal survival. In as much as one does not have all it entails for him to live a fulfilled life and in fact actualize his manifest destiny, there is the need for me to leverage on the areas where you are more competent, where you are more leveraged, where you are more gifted than me, so as to remedy my own areas of insufficiency, in my own areas of incapacity. By so doing, I tap from your strength to remedy my weakness. And this does not encourage parasitic existence. I give to you, I tap from you.
Symbiotic.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship. So it has been our way of life. And this came to more manifestation during the crisis of 1967 and 1970. What historians may refer to as the era of the civil war between the Biafrans, the Southeasterners, and part of what you have today as South-South, and the rest of Nigeria, and to an extent, the larger world, where there was mass migration, sort of homecoming of all the Igbos as splittered hitherto and the rest of the federation. People came home, some came with half limb, broken jaws, poor, impoverished, incapacitated, deprived. But what motivated them to come back home was the Omona system. Now, our people survived during those two protracted, strenuous and painful years. But the apprenticeship system became more manifest during the post-Civil War economic reconstruction and rebuilding of the Igbo and Igbo land, where the schools were destroyed, where people had to forfeit all that they had due to the, 20-pound system, the abandoned property as it happened in the next door neighbor city, Port Harcourt. Our people were left with nothing other than the strong will make something out of nothing to survive. In a situation where somebody thinks you must have to die, this guy gonna die, then you come up with the resilience, with the dogged determination. I'm not gonna die no matter what it takes. Now people started rebuilding the businesses they abandoned. What they had was just 2 or 3 things: goodwill, has built over the years through reputation, integrity, and honesty. Now experience. Meanwhile, there is an army of unemployed, upcoming youth who needed to be equipped, who needed to be empowered. Now they had to learn the ropes, they had to learn the trade, the craft, the skill from the elder ones. Whereby I don't have anything to invest other than my loyalty, other than my sheer dedication to learn the rope. Tap from your experience, serve you for a while, and you equip me, you reward me, you pay me back with 2 things. 1, the knowledge, the skill, the technical know-how, and some funds with which to build myself. And this is not quite different from what we learned from the higher institutions today, where a student would do 2 years OND.
They go for industrial training.
Go for industrial training. The 2 years OND is what you may have as Ezenmuo here, 2 years.
For Eba boy.
Eba boy,
For Ezenmuo.
2 years. After the 2 years or 3 years, the industrial attachment is to send you out to do the marketing.
That's the practical aspect
The
of it.
practical aspect of it. You have acquired the theoretical backup. Now you need to practicalize what you have learned for the past 2-3 years. Practicalize it. Let us know areas of sufficiency, so as to the orga to remedy the areas of inefficiency. Now, after the EPA boy 1 year, that is the 1 year industrial attachment, you still fall back for another 2-3 years to help one solidify your knowledge. Now build a pool, a larger pool of wealth from where your orga will now deep hand and settle you. It doesn't end in settling you. He connects you with his network of goodwill. Take credit. He exposes you to his network of clientele. So it has been before this mass madness, mass rush for quick wealth.
Okay.
It has been the Igbo way of life.
Okay, thank you very much for that wonderful explanation. As I said in my introduction, I said that this system has produced millionaires almost in every facet of urban life in our neighborhood. Now, why is it no longer attractive to our youth?
The answer is very simple: misplacement of priority. You see, before now, the Igbo man, the Igbo personage has always been defined by what we call the Igbo trinity of character. Ukwu Nije, Nkanozu, and Abuja. Ukwu Nije, the love for adventure. Nkanozu, skill and craft. That is why the late sage, Chukwemeka Odumegwu of saintly memory, said that whenever and wherever he sees great wealth, he suspects great crime, unless the owner of the wealth could point at the backyard, could point at a tree at the backyard that produces money as its leaf. I think you're getting what I mean. Now, adventure, enterprise, entrepreneurial drive, entrepreneurial spirit. This is the definition of the Igbo man before the late 90s, where the dangers of cultural infiltration as made necessary by our social intercourse, social relationship with other people that are our neighbors, that are not our kids and kin. Now, you see the culture of get quick rich syndrome, which of course is not alien to the Igbo man. But this danger has infiltrated into our culture. Now you see people engaging in hyper celebration of wealth that has no maternal home. What do I refer to as the maternal home of wealth? When I was growing up, my dad would always tell me not to cultivate yam that has no maternal home. What is he trying to tell me? A core Igbo man wouldn't go to market to buy yam seedlings that he would cultivate. He must go to a renowned farmer, buy the yams from his barn, and receive his blessings. So that tomorrow, when the yam seedlings flourish and blossom, he would introduce his barn, pointing at the barn and say, I got my yam seedlings from Demoreji. The same thing with wealth. Before now, the Igbo man, if you come home as a young man with a car, it's either you leave the house or your father will leave the house for you, because he wouldn't want to be embarrassed by law enforcement agents for having housed and accommodated a fraudster, somebody who amassed wealth questionably. But all those things are declining today. So people now, the young people, don't give any consideration to the patience, to the tradition, time-tested tradition of Ndibo, of learning the ropes, of engaging in deferred gratification,
Our cherished core values.
of suffering today in order to enjoy tomorrow. The norm now, which is quite regrettable, is get it today, die tomorrow, or die and I die.
Igbos.
Igbos.
Thank you very much, Ezenmuo. It's always a pleasure to have you in the house. At this point, we are going to give a chance to our students to ask a question. But before we do that, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, the rest of issues of the moment continues. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the program. This is Issues of the Moment. And on today's edition of the program, we are taking a look why the apprenticeship scheme is on the verge of extinction in southeast Nigeria. And before we went on that break, my guest, Ezenmuo Dannie Ubani, told us why the scheme is no longer attractive to our army of youth of today, he blamed the factor on Ibute Ego Igwe, which we know as get rich quick syndrome. Now we are going to give an opportunity to our students to ask any question concerning the issue we are discussing, and I'm giving the opportunity to Gloria Chimwanya to ask the first question. Gloria.
My name is Gloria Chukudi. I'm from the Department of Human Journalism and Media Studies. My question is, what are the benefits of being an apprentice, since it is a process of learning?
Ezenmuo, the benefits of apprenticeship.
Well, the benefits are too large to be numbered. It keeps you learning the ropes. It keeps you mentally. It gives you the benefit of tapping from the vast network of goodwill of your oga or nine or your boss. Also teaches you the rudiments of the craft, the skill, and the trade, as the case may be. And it, when we say it exposes you to the network of goodwill of your boss, we mean that the interconnectivity of credit system, distribution system, and marketing system. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other question?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Forcing a child to become an apprentice without his or her will, is that said to be invading in the child's human rights?
I didn't get that question well.
Forcing a child to learn a trade without his or her consent.
No one does anything well outside his or her consent. Instead of coercion, we preach persuasion, getting the child to embrace and imbibe the realities of his or her socio-economic realities. Sort of, you are an orphan, you are fatherless, your mother is a peasant farmer. I don't have the wherewithal to train you beyond this level of education. Let us face the realities. Instead of you to while and idle away your time and your destiny in the village, instead of you, getting hooked up to social vices, it's better you follow God to one nail and learn this trade. After learning it 3 years or 4 years, got to live with him for the next 3 years, serve him. Then at the end of which, okay, do you all. So you paint a rosy picture of the realities of what the child's world would become if he assiduously, painstakingly, and honestly learn the ropes. Then with that persuasive conviction, the child would gladly step forth. Then when you, I don't think the Igbo apprenticeship system is anchored and built around coercion, rather persuasion and conviction.
Okay, thank you very much. And before we go back to our students, Ezenmuo, let me ask you this question. With due respect to our youth, today we are producing youth who regard learning a skill and going to school as a waste of time and resources. Now, and we know that our economy is in a poor state. It's affecting the formal and informal sector. Now, is it an excuse? Artisans are not getting jobs. They're experiencing low patronage. Is it an excuse for somebody not to learn a trade because of what is happening today? Will it continue forever?
No, I beg to disagree with you. Artisans, craftsmen are smiling to the bank, whereas other sectors of economy are thriving. The plumbing system in your house wouldn't, and in fact doesn't, need to understand the present socio-economic realities of our time to spoil. They will spoil when mishandled or when it is time for them to spoil. Your car must be maintained at the right time, whether you have money or not. these are realities. You can't wish them away with prayer or fasting. Okay? Now, the issue is that because of the get rich quick syndrome of our youth, there is now the decline of people who have schooled themselves with the requisite knowledge, with the skill in these much looked down upon sectors of the economy. That even when you look at it today, people from the north, Hausa Fulani, have taken over our security system, Megad system here. But you brandish them, you portray them as their enemies. Look at the foolhardiness. Look at the foolishness. The man you think is your enemy that wants to kill you. It is the same man, for lack of people who are willing to do the work amongst their kin and kin, it is the same man you are mortgaging your security to. The Hausa man, go to Abba today, go to Onisha. Out of every 10 beautiful houses you see, out of the 10 houses of big men you see, 7 of them are being guarded by Megad from Hausa Fulani. While our own youth loiter away, and while away their time and future, engaging in fantasies of get quick rich syndrome. Again, people from Cotonou are the ones now coming to do medicine work here. So at the end of the day,
And even roof our houses.
even to roof our houses, at the end of the day, you find out that we are now populating our place, our land, with youths who are awfully deficient in requisite knowledge and skill. And for a people that are so deprived of the rudiments, the rudimentary knowledge and skill of how to combat their immediate environmental and social challenges, such a people are doomed. We pride ourselves as the Jews. Go back to history. Study it today. Consult your Google. Go to Forbes magazine. Find out that wherever there is wealth, after the indigenous people, the next richest people are the Jews. And these are people who migrated to either London, Germany, America, with nothing other than a pair of jeans, a pair of shirts. But above all, they are equipped with requisite value system. Money has never answered unto wishful thoughts or imagination.
You must work for it.
Money answers to value. What are you bringing to the table? My generation of Ndebo, my generation of Southeasterners, and the people coming behind us, what value are we bringing to the table? I am a proud farmer. I'm proud of what I do. The value I bring to the table, for which kings will look for me, is requisite knowledge and skill in the science and the craft of food production and food processing. It is the value you bring to any system that will make kings come to your rising.
Okay, thank you. In the course of our discussion, you talk about religion. You must work for it. You don't have to pray for it. It's a natural law. Now today,
Which can never be broken.
yes. Now today, we have, can I say that the spirit of capitalism has invaded the churches of Christendom because of the messages, sermons emanating from the pulpit of Orthodox and New Generational churches. Can we say that pastors are contributing to what is happening?
Of course,
religion.
Yes. Of course, yes. My Bible tells me, of course, I'm a practicing Christian. I fear God. But faith is not foolishness. My Bible tells me that I shall know the truth, and only the truth shall set me free. The truth in this context that it applies to acquisition of relevant and requisite skills and craft, is that you can't place something on nothing and expect it to stand. God asked God asked Moses, what is in thy hand? It is what is in your hand, no matter how little, no matter how insignificant and insufficient, that you can utilize. And upon proper utilization of it, then God, the blessings and mercies of God will come in. God is not a lazy God. When Christ departed there, he said, I'm going to prepare a place for you. When I'm done, I'm coming to take you home. He has not returned back because he's still preparing the place. He's still working. God himself did not create mankind or the universe out of nothing. It is out of his own creative, cognitive capabilities and the works of his hand.
Okay, thank you, Ezenmuo. Let us take another question from members of the audience.
My name is Kelechi Francis Wanguma, a student of Living TV Film Academy from the Department of Journalism and Multimedia. My question goes like this. What are the disadvantages of being an apprentice?
Well, if not
Are there
that,
disadvantages, Ezenmuo?
if not that it is said that there are two sides of a coin, I would have said that I don't see an father, not experiencing. You see, for every lifting, for every promotion, for every next level, there must be a prize. And now the prize comes in the form of depriving yourself of some immediate gains. This is a system I refer to as deferred gratification. As an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a farmer, I see life and everything in life all around investment and reaping. That's sowing and reaping. You sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. Whenever you see a 60-year-old man pushing through, that means he did not give a good account of his teenage age and that age. Are you getting me? As the Igbos would say, so apprenticeship is all about investing your youth energy in the right channel, in the right investment, in the right ventures, deferring immediate profit, immediate comfort, immediate gain, immediate convenience, that the evening of your life will be better. Deferred gratification. If not, what you defer now in terms of investment, because whatever can you do now, laboring in the shop of your boss, laboring in the workshop of your guy, all those things are for you to be properly equipped, intellectually, mentally, and physically, skillfully for the task ahead. As we say, it is only the test of fire that produces the fine steel.
Okay, thank you. I hope I answered it. Okay, another question?
All right. Let me first of all commend the Honorable for your wise sayings and your intellectual acumen, because you branded me a bit now. Now, my question, I have two questions. For instance, let me use myself as an example. Okay, before that, I'm a student of Living TV Film Academy from the Department of Journalism and Multimedia Studies. 2004, I went into apprenticeship under my master. I stayed 5 years and 7 months. Came back in a sick bed. Up till now, nothing, no settlement for him. Now, person like me, do I have any legal right against my master? That is number one. Then, sir, in your own wisdom, I want you to differentiate, because the way you explain apprenticeship, if it is the way it's being done now, person like me, I would like to serve not less than 7 masters. Then, differentiate for me slavery and apprenticeship, because the way it is in our time now is more or less a slavery mission for young people who are under apprenticeship.
Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Ezenmuo, before you answer that question, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, Ezenmuo will answer that very question. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the program. This is Issues of the Moment, and today we are discussing the decline of apprenticeship system in Southeast Nigeria. And my guest is Ezenmuo, Dannie Ubani. Before we went on that break, a student asked a question: is today's type of apprenticeship modern day slavery? Ezenmuo.
Thank you so much, my dear brother and young man. I must have to appreciate your kind words. I'm humbled. But then, going to your question, there is no perfect system. Even the one midwife and supervised and coordinated by our Lord Jesus. Christ had 12 disciples, and out of the 12, one went astray. And while giving account of his stewardship, he said, "Father, of all the people entrusted into my care, none went astray except the son of perdition." In other words, and relatively speaking, out of every 12, there must be a Judas. You don't rule out the fact that the Gates Quick Rich syndrome has also crept in and in fact permeated all facets of our social life, to the point that those who we are positioned or are positioned to become gatekeepers, in fact the shepherds are now becoming eaters of the flock. So you don't rule out the fact that your experience happens once in a while, but every true Igbo man, every Southeasterner who is worth his onion would understand and appreciate the inescapable and undeniable fact that when a young person, when a lad, a word is entrusted into your care for tutelage, for training, for guardianship, you are more or less like a Okonkwo in things fall apart. That child calls you father. Piano handing is dead. If greed beclouds a sense of reasoning and a sense of appreciation of fairness and social justice, as to subject him to the system where he walks like an elephant and ends up eating like an ant, there are the gods of the land that will take care of that, as it eventually did take care of Okonkwo in things fall apart. But outside or beyond the fact that you are their master Nangu or Garo, for whatever reason, failed to equip you monetarily, Iduki, there are some take home, there are some benefits, there are some advantages that cannot be quantified monetarily. The skill, the knowledge, the social economic connectivity, the contacts, the exposure. These are far more than money and what money can buy. At the end of the Civil War, there was an admixture of grief and joy. Grief in the camp, in the household of those who were rich before the war. They lost everything. You know, war is an equalizer. War is not a respecter of social differences or social status. Is a leveler. Now they have lost the indolence, the never do well, the village layabouts. They were jubilant. They were happy. Why were they happy? In the midst of sorrow, they were like, thank God for the war. At least all of us are equal now. No one is a big man. No one is richer than the other. But you know what? From what my dad told me, and mind you, no Igbo man speaks falsely to his son. Because in our tradition, to say my father told me is to swear the gravest and biggest oath. My father told me, and I verily believed him, that at the end of the Civil War, those who were rich before the war, that lost everything, were eventually those that became rich again after the war.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Now, Ezenmuo, before we go, one of the challenges facing Nigeria today is unemployment. In fact, according to Bureau of Statistics, it's about 33%, which is among the highest in the world. And the panacea to this very problem is skill acquisition, learning a trade. Why is it that our people are no longer interested? And how can we restore this confidence in this very laudable system?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me start by saying the bitter truth. And the next time, in the next 7-10 years, the rate of unemployment in Nigeria will get to 50%. I'm not sounding pessimistic, neither am I a prophet of doom, but this is a very gory reality staring us in the face. And I disagree with you that the panacea, the solution, the gateway to having this problem ameliorated or solved is learning of trade. No, it's just one of those things. If you follow global trend, you'll find out that by 2025, the European Union would phase out all fuel powered vehicles. Then the government, what is our government doing in preparation for this evil day? Bearing in mind that our economy is a monocultural economy, is solely dependent on oil. What it means is that our traditional customers, those who are buying our products, our petroleum, would have other environment-friendly sources of energy, which means we will be left with our oil, either to drink it or to leave it there. Then what are we doing to, diversify our economy? Agriculture is the next economic destination of the world. Agriculture is the next economic destination of the world, followed by science and technology. Now, our core system is the earlier drivers of public opinion, such as the mass media, living world television, and the likes, understand this social responsibility and its imperatives, the need to conscientize our people, to prepare our people for the evil day. As soon as the government becomes alive to her responsibility of making people to see the attractiveness, the beauty, the profitability of knowing something that you can do with your hands. When you read Nnamdi Azikiwe's autobiography, My Odyssey, upon getting to the shores of US, where he got enlisted in the university, the president of the university, as we have vice chancellors here, they called you as president, was like, young man, let me know the areas of your proficiency so that we can fix you in a job to enable you pick your bills. You'll be working, you'll be schooling. What can you? He said, I'm proficient in letter writing. I'm skilled in shorthand, in typing. He said, hey, come up here. Tell me what you can do with your hands. Every fool can do those things.
Performance.
Yes. So until we are able to develop our hands, our academic curriculum is not tailored towards entrepreneurship. We only develop our mind at the expense of our hands. Then for education to what is sought, there must be a correlation. There must be a practicalization of what we know theoretically with our hands. Practicalize it.
Okay, thank you, Ezenmuo. Our time is very limited, and it's unfortunate that we cannot take. Okay, it's unfortunate that we cannot take any other question from the audience. Now, Ezenmuo, before we draw the curtain on today's edition of our program, the present administration of Dr. Kesin Ibasan is also placing emphasis on skill acquisition, especially in the area of garments and leather. How relevant is it to today's world?
Yeah, you see, to be very frank, always somehow skeptical commenting on the achievements of this government, because one way or the other I may be seen to be part of it, but the truth remains the fact that Ibazo's government may have not been able to build bridges where there are no rivers. It may not have made Abia the El Dorado that everyone would theoretically wish Abia to be, but he has done two things very fundamental. One of the fundamental things he has done is that the ability, the vision, the mental capacity of knowing our area of advantage. Now, churning out government policies aimed at leveraging on those areas of competence and advantage. Aba is known for trade and investment. Aba is known for commerce. Aba, when you talk about made in Aba, you are talking about what we can do with our hands, especially in the area of garment and leather works. But these policies need to be watered down. These policies need to be, watered down to benefit more the downtrodden. As it is today, I believe the major beneficiaries of these laudable policies are the big players in the industry. Let us domesticate these policies. Let us make it a way of life. Let the average Abian be encouraged and equipped and empowered, and above all, let him be mentally liberated to know that the world is his stage. Let us leverage on the benefits of modern technology so as to market our capabilities, not just our potentials.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, we have come to the end of today's edition of our program, Issues of the Moment. We have been discussing decline of our apprenticeship system in Southeast Nigeria. I want to thank my guest, Ezenmuo Dannie Ubani, who came to the studios of Living TV Film Academy to talk about this very issue that concerns almost everybody in this part of the globe. I will also thank the students of Living TV Film Academy for participating in today's edition of the program. I also want to thank everybody that contributed in one way or the other to ensure the success of today's edition of Issues of the Moment, especially the executive producer, Seth Moses Ogwenna. Ezenmuo, it's a pleasure having you.
My pleasure always. Thank you.
My name is Chimezie Ozems. I want to thank you for watching.